Let me start in today on day 24 of Occupy Wall Street. Word is spreading fast that if you head down to Wall Street now, it's a great place to eat, get free food, get stoned, get drunk, and have sex. Zucotti Park is the name of the park here in New York. It's now a camping and staging area for the protesters, and it is starting to resemble a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah. Sarah, in the paper today, she's 19 years old. She tells the New York Post that Zucotti Park, quote, makes me kind of think of what Woodstock must have been like. I haven't hooked up with any guys, but one of my friends did and have sex with him in a tarp. Oh, that's so romantic. You old-fashioned kids, you. Oh, that's great. Hey, what do you say? We head back to my tarp and we do a little crazy stuff, huh? Yeah. Oh, what girl doesn't dream of ending up in a sexual encounter with a strange man in a tarp in a park that smells like urine in New York City? No, and it's even better if you're surrounded by a bunch of drugged-up hippies trying to relive Woodstock. Oh, 1968, there we come, huh? The oppressed, the brave, the protesters are also doing their best to rough it. 26-year-old Cameron says this: people say that they're here for the cause, but the real reason is the free food. On my third day, they had smoked salmon with cream cheese. Oh, nice, huh? You know how much smoked salmon is a pound? $16. I eat better here than I do with my parents. Can I tell you something? I put on large events. I've done it. I did it in Israel. I did it in Washington, D.C. We could barely afford water. Who's paying for the salmon? Now, the interviews of the neighbors reveal that they've had enough. One lady who works down the street said, you know what, we work hard too, and we don't defecate in the park and live like animals. I was going to say neither do these people, but yes, they do. Businesses are complaining that people are constantly coming in to use the bathrooms without buying anything. So the question is now, why don't they just shut it down? Wouldn't that be great? I never thought of that. If they could just create enough chaos, let me see if I can remember this from that crazy guy on Fox. If they could just create enough chaos on the streets, then the people would scream out and ask the government to stop it. So it'd be bottom up, top down, and it would turn everything inside out. I remember that now. That'll never happen. That guy was crazy. Whatever happened to him? The company that owns Zucotti Park, this park, the mayor says he can't shut it down. But the company that owns this park is Brookfield Office Properties. It's part of the group Brookfield Asset Management, Inc. It's worth about $150 billion. A corporation. Now, Mayor Bloomberg says, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I could barely remove the snow from the streets. How could I possibly get these guys out of the park? Because you know what's crazy? They'd have to ask for us to remove it because it's a private park owned by this corporation. Here's the deal. Mayor Bloomberg's longtime girlfriend is on the board of directors. He might have an in. Maybe they could go to a tarp and hook up. Brookfield also has Renewable Power subsidiary. It just received $138 million in federal loan guarantees. And you'll never guess when they got that. Just a couple of days after this started in their park. Oh, and Brookfield also just happens to be, and I know this is a coincidence, they hired a few years ago a lobbying firm, the firm of Oldacre, Biden, and Belay. Biden. Oh my gosh, that's the son of Vice President Joe Biden. What are the odds? It's a small world after all. See how we're all connected? Kevin Bacon right now is freaking out. But let's go back to the crowds. Yes, many are there just for the food and the chicks and the tarps. Many are there willing to sell their souls for a romp in that said tarp. But not everyone. Oh, look, the Goldman Sachs CEO with his head on a pike. Oh, don't you love it when that happens? Oh, I've seen this kind of rhetoric before. It's from the 1970s. Yeah, I think the rhetoric that I've heard like that before went something like this. Oh, the king must die in order that the nation must live. Yeah, Robespierre. Yeah, he was the one that just started pulling people. And they ended up just killing children even in the gallows. Oh, those were the days, huh? And look at him. He looks so stuffy and so handsome. Oh, I wonder if he has a top, ladies, huh? A few years ago, I think it was about 2005 maybe, I was interviewing candidates and politicians, and I started telling them, you know what, guys? If you continue to disenfranchise the people, they're going to come for you with pitchforks and torches. Yeah. That's what the lefts tried to say that the Tea Party was all about, pitchforks and torches. They actually just came armed with their vote and their voices and their lawn chairs. These people in the parks are out for blood. And that is where it will all end again, in blood. Democrats, you have got to get away from these people. You don't know who they are. You think that you are using them for fuel. It's just the opposite. The uber left is populated with idealists at best. Then you have Marxists, the godless, killers, and the criminal elite. Once these people have enough power, or once they feel they have nothing to lose, they will kill you. How do I know? Let me fill you in. I don't know if you know this. They're Marxist revolutionaries. That's what they do. Hang on just a second. Let me show you something. Got to go behind the chalkboard. Let me go back here because I have it in the library. Yes, this is a little book I found in France. It is something called The Coming Insurrection. In it, they talk about the little politicians that they're going to kill. Because they say in their book that they're sick of all politicians. All of them. Even those on the left have betrayed them. It's in their little books. It's in their little pamphlets. It's on their websites. They're against the entire system. Read The Coming Insurrection because it's almost not coming anymore. It's almost like it's here. Politicians on both sides have betrayed the people. That's what these people say. Now, I don't know if anybody in Washington gets this yet. Let me try one more time, and then I'm moving on. Congressman John Lewis, you know what I tell you, when I first saw Van Jones, and I saw him the very first time, I had a chill run down my spine. I know who that guy is. He is a danger to this country. I know who he is. Now, first time I saw him, that's the way I felt. Haven't felt that way since, until I saw this yesterday. This is Occupy Atlanta. This is John Lewis, congressman. He is a legend in America. He is a human rights marcher that marched with Martin Luther King. I mean, he's about to learn that when you teach a society that history doesn't matter, even if you march with Martin Luther King, it doesn't matter. Here's a lefty who is about to be in so many ways deemed not worth treating with respect. Here's a man, there he is, that marched with Martin Luther King. This guy's seen the worst of the worst. He stood up to evil. He went to jail. He got the club to the head. You kidding me? Now what happens? Here's what happened when John Lewis went to Atlanta just to lend his support. Watch.
How do we feel? With hand signs, please. Let me take a moment to explain why
Please do.
we use hand signs.
Yes.
Clapping
John Lewis.
can prevent someone else who is addressing the assembly from being heard. We want everyone's voice to be heard. To signal approval, wave your hands or your fingers.
This is fun. It's like romper
Look
room
at
or
those
something.
out. That way, we can hear each other.
That's so good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do we feel about Congressman John Lewis
Yeah.
addressing the assembly? Are there any box?
Oh, man.
There's a box here.
Like a little crazy, man.
Kickstart. Democratic process.
Look at him.
Human being. Is inherently more valuable.
John Lewis is looking at him like, what are you, nuts? They're not going to let me speak? He's like, yeah, okay. I try the finger thing.
The temperature check. This is not a vote. This is just how you feel
Oh.
about what the block has said. How do we
Stop.
feel
I
about
can't
that?
take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Okay? I can't take it anymore. These guys are out of their mind. This is what democracy looks like? Yeah, this is what democracy, first of all, there's supposed to be people claiming to have a better way of doing things, repeating everything, doing it doesn't exactly scream government efficiency or build confidence. This should send a chill to your core, because what they're doing now is they are debating whether or not John Lewis should be allowed to speak. Bring the audio up again. Now he's looking, look at this guy. Marxist, communist. Oh, what? I've got a problem. Who's got to go potty? I do. Look at this. So John's like, what the? Now this is a brief glimpse into mob rule. People ditching their individuality in favor of mindless chanting along with the collective. This is what democracy looks like? Oppressing someone from speaking because you don't have a consensus? Democracy is not a consensus. Democracy is a majority. That's why we don't have a democracy. We have a constitutional republic. History will teach you every time that groupthink and operating based on the collective never, ever ends well. Never. And we've seen it time and time again. All over. I mean, it came to Tunisia, started in Tunisia, and then it went to Egypt, and then it went to Libya, and it spread all over the Middle East, and then it jumped up to Europe, and it's been happening in Europe, and now it's beginning here. Our time is coming. This was the Arab Spring. We're in the European fall. We're about to hit it. Nobody's really talking about Europe yet. Oh, they will. Because this has oppression and this has real poverty. This is about to get real poverty, and so is this. I think there's going to be a slowdown this winter because it's going to heat up in Europe. And this will affect us eventually. I don't know how long we have. It could happen by the end of the week. We could be in this. It might be next year. It might be 2 years. But I warn you, gang, it is coming. What you're seeing played out now is a replay kind of the Hungary Revolution. Oh, revolution in Hungary, Hungary. Oh my gosh, that's where George Soros lived when he was a kid. Anyway, things can happen incredibly fast. They've started a revolution, they collapsed the government, and they lost it again, all in the span of 12 days in Hungary. How long did it take all those countries? But more Occupy protests are coming. They are spreading all over the globe. Here they are. This is next Saturday. Mark my words, you are going to wake up one day and things will have changed almost overnight. Cataclysmic global changes are coming. Remember, Workers of the World Unite. It's not just the slogan anymore. So the movement is global. Great. But I ask Americans to answer this question. Who is the wealthiest 1% on the rest, to the rest of the globe? Sorry. Us. You. The 99% is actually the 1% to the rest of the globe. You'd think John Lewis would begin to understand what he has just witnessed. But this is a really bad sign. He apparently doesn't.